General Hospital spoilers reveals that, unexpectedly, something no one anticipated has happened. Josslyn has officially joined the WSB, a shocking decision not only for him but also for everyone close to him. After countless refusals and resisting pressure from Brennan and even the government, Josslyn could no longer escape the destiny that had been set for him. This choice wasn't born out of his own desires or ambitions, but rather the consequence of uncontrollable situations and well-calculated schemes. And as he is forced to step into a completely new path, his story in Port Charles is also nearing its end, at least for now. Josslyn's acceptance of the new role within the WSB is not just a significant event for him but also triggers a wave of change affecting all those he leaves behind. Josslyn's loyalty to Sunny has never been questioned, but now, for the first time, he is forced to choose between loyalty and the harsh realities. Will Sunny accept the fact that his most loyal friend is now working for an organization he has never trusted? What will Carly do when Josslyn is no longer there to protect her family, to be the pillar she can rely on during tough times? And Josslyn, whom Josslyn has tried to protect at all costs, will she be able to live in peace knowing she's a part of this coerced decision? This change is not just a turning point in Josslyn's life but also a major adjustment for the entire landscape of Port Charles. With Josslyn leaving, a power vacuum will appear, and the question remains, who will fill this gap? Will Sunny find another trustworthy person to stand by him, or will the battle for power in the underground world become fiercer than ever before? But the story doesn't end there. Josslyn's joining the WSB is not just a personal decision, it's a piece in a larger plan, a plan he may not fully realize yet. Once he's in the organization, there's no turning back. Brennan doesn't just want Josslyn to be a simple agent, he wants to turn him into a living weapon, a strategic pawn the WSB can use at any moment. And when Josslyn is tasked with his first missions, he will quickly realize that the world he is stepping into is unlike anything he has ever experienced before. Josslyn's departure from Port Charles to carry out a mission for the WSB has been confirmed faster than ever. Once he accepts a mission, returning will no longer be easy. His loved ones may think this is just a temporary assignment, but the truth could be much harsher. Will Josslyn be able to find a way out of this trap, or will he be drawn deeper into the world he never wanted? And most importantly, could this truly be the end of his life in Port Charles, or is it just the beginning of a dangerous, unpredictable new chapter? Once Josslyn becomes part of the WSB, no one can predict what will happen next, and this story will certainly stretch far beyond anyone's imagination. Josslyn has finally won the right to care for Danny and Scout, a victory full of meaning but also accompanied by countless risks and responsibilities. This is not just about re-establishing his father-son relationship but also a major shift in his life, one he once thought he would never have the chance to make. But just when Josslyn thinks he has finally stepped into the role of a father in a way he never has before, a new problem arises, a problem that could change everything. Brennan, who has always tried to manipulate Josslyn, is now targeting not just him but also the future of Danny and Scout. He's not just stopping at forcing Josslyn to join the WSB, he's also looking for a way to control the lives of the two children, making them part of a larger plan. If Josslyn gaining custody of his children is a big step forward, it is also a weakness Brennan can exploit. He might offer a new deal, a deal Josslyn cannot refuse, even if it goes against everything he has ever believed in. The appearance of this deal is not just a simple event, it is one of the most dangerous moves Brennan has ever made. This is no longer just a battle between him and Josslyn, but now, it concerns the future of Danny and Scout. Is Brennan trying to bring the children under WSB's control to ensure Josslyn never leaves the organization? Or is he using them as leverage to force Josslyn into missions he doesn't want to take on? Whatever the answer may be, it is clear that Josslyn is being cornered with no way out. Josslyn's departure from Port Charles is no longer just a personal decision, it is an event that carries consequences no one could foresee. He leaves not just to carry out a mission for the WSB but also to protect Danny and Scout from an uncertain future. But as Josslyn leaves, Port Charles will lose a key figure, someone who has always been a pillar amid power struggles and dark conspiracies. His departure creates a huge gap, one that no one can easily fill. Sunny may feel the loss of someone he has always trusted, Carly will have to face the reality that Jason will no longer be there to help her through tough times, and Sam, the mother of Danny and Scout, will have to decide whether to accept this change or not. Jason was once an unafraid warrior, but this time, he is fighting for something greater than himself, his children's future. But can Jason truly control the situation? Or has Brennan calculated everything to ensure that, whether Jason leaves Port Charles or not, he still holds power over his life? Once Jason steps into the WSB world, no one can guarantee he will have a path back. And if that happens, who will protect Danny and Scout when he is no longer there? Jason's departure is not just a personal decision, it creates a domino effect that could completely change the balance of power in Port Charles. When he is no longer there to keep things in balance, what will happen next? Who will stand up against people like Brennan? And most importantly, will Jason truly leave for good, or is this just the beginning of a dangerous journey he must take? A new chapter is opening, and this time, Jason is no longer fighting for himself. He is fighting for his family, for his children, and for a future he cannot let fall into the hands of others. But when Port Charles loses the man who has always been an integral part of it, what comes next? And who will be strong enough to fill the void he leaves behind? Carly is falling into a desperate situation as she realizes that Josslyn is being pulled into a dangerous spiral that she cannot control. Josslyn's decision to join the WSB was not just an impulsive one, but the result of underlying pressures and schemes that pushed her down an irreversible path. Carly knows that she cannot protect her daughter from the hidden enemies lurking in the shadows on her own, so she has only one option left, to beg Jason for help. Jason, who had once been the solid shield of Carly's family, is facing a more difficult situation than ever before. He had left the criminal world in search of a different path, but now Carly is pulling him back, pleading for him to act and protect Josslyn from the growing danger. Whether Jason wants to or not, he cannot turn a blind eye knowing that Joss is falling into a situation beyond control. The scariest part is that the WSB is not an organization that can be easily dealt with. They have power, influence, and once they have what they want, they don't let go easily. Josslyn didn't join the WSB because she wanted to, but because she felt she had no other choice. She was manipulated, pushed into a position where any wrong move could lead to unpredictable consequences. But what Joss didn't foresee was that entering the world of the WSB also meant becoming a target. The WSB's enemies are now her enemies, and no one can guarantee her safety as bigger schemes unfold in the dark. The disaster is becoming more and more apparent as Carly realizes that Joss is in real danger. The forces she's facing are unlike anything Carly has dealt with before. This is no longer just battles in the underworld of Port Charles, this is a higher stakes war, where power players can easily turn someone into a pawn in their plans. Carly knows she can't face the WSB alone, and Jason is the only one who can help her protect her daughter. But the problem is, Jason is no longer a free man. He has been drawn into his own schemes, trapped in deals he cannot easily escape from. If Jason helps Carly, it means going up against the WSB directly, a group that doesn't accept betrayal. And if he turns his back on them, he could lose everything. This leaves Jason in an unprecedented internal struggle. Should he protect Joss at all costs, or can he find a way to save her without putting himself in danger? The shock grows bigger as things progress further than ever before. If Josslyn is truly under the WSB's control, then Carly is not only losing her daughter, but she could also lose Jason again. Jason can't let that happen, but he also can't act recklessly. He needs to find a way to pull Joss out of the organization before it's too late, but will there be enough time? And if the WSB finds out Jason is trying to intervene, what will happen next? Port Charles is on the brink of a new storm, and this time, no one can predict how disastrous the consequences will be. Joss is playing a dangerous game she's not prepared for, Carly is fighting to save her daughter from the WSB's control, and Jason is caught between loyalty to his family and the harsh reality that he can't easily win this battle. A disaster is imminent, and once everything collapses, no one knows what will remain after the storm. In the end, what many feared has come true. Jason must leave Port Charles for an important mission assigned by Brennan. This is not just a temporary trip, but a major turning point in his life. Though he doesn't want to be controlled by the WSB, the current situation leaves Jason with no other choice. Once he steps into Brennan's world, all roads to retreat seem to close. The mission in Europe is not just a regular operation, it's a harsh test, a forced compliance with rules Jason has always tried to avoid. Brennan knows full well that Jason is not someone who can be easily manipulated, but this time, he has set the perfect trap, and Jason can't escape. No matter how hard Jason tries to resist, the truth remains, he must complete this mission, or the consequences will affect not only him but those he loves. Jason's departure from Port Charles is not just a personal decision, it sets off a chain reaction for everyone around him. Carly, who has always relied on Jason as a strong emotional support, now faces the reality that he's no longer by her side. She's used to having him show up to protect her and the family when things get tough. But this time, with Josslyn falling into a dangerous spiral, Jason can't stay to help her. This leaves Carly in a state of panic, feeling as though she's losing a vital part of her life. Sonny can't believe that Jason is really leaving. His best friend, the brother he trusts more than anyone, is no longer standing by his side to fight with him. Sonny understands that Jason never would have chosen this path if he wasn't forced, but that doesn't ease his worry. Sonny has always believed Jason is an irreplaceable part of his world, but this time, he can't do anything to keep him. Josslyn is the one most deeply affected by this departure. It was she who was manipulated by Brennan, pushed into the WSB, and now Jason must bear the consequences. Joss can't help but feel guilty knowing that if it weren't for her, Jason might still be in Port Charles, still himself, not bound by dangerous missions. She wonders if she's becoming the burden Jason must protect, to the point that he's willing to sacrifice everything he once had. Since Brennan appeared, he has set his sights on Jason as his biggest target in his plan. He wants to make Jason a WSB agent at any cost, and now it seems he has succeeded. But the question is this truly Brennan's victory? Or does Jason still have a way out? Jason is not one to accept control easily. While he must follow this mission now, it doesn't mean he'll be bound to the organization forever. He won't stop looking for ways to escape the WSB and return to those he loves. But is that easy? As Jason enters this world, he will face new dangers and challenges like never before. Can he survive and return to Port Charles unscathed? This is not just a fictional story. Jason's departure from Port Charles means Steve Burton will temporarily leave General Hospital. This is a huge shock to viewers, especially those who have followed Jason's journey over the years. Jason is not just an important character, he's an irreplaceable part of Port Charles. His absence will create a void that no one can easily fill. The biggest question now is, how long will this departure last? Is this a temporary trip, or is it a permanent change? When Jason returns, if he returns, will he still be the same, or will he be a completely different person after what he's been through at the WSB? When Jason is no longer in Port Charles, who will step into the role he left behind? Who will protect Carly when she needs help? Who will Sonny trust when everything falls into chaos? And most importantly, who will protect Josslyn as she faces the consequences of the decisions she's made? Jason's absence will put everyone in a difficult position, and no one knows what will happen next. Port Charles has always been a place of schemes, power struggles, and never-ending feuds. With Jason's departure, the city will face a new era, a time without Jason Morgan to keep things in check. With Jason's exit, everything is changing faster than ever. Carly, Sonny, Josslyn, and those close to him will have to face the reality that Jason may not return soon. But more importantly, will Jason be able to escape Brennan's control? As Jason boards the plane leaving Port Charles for Europe, no one knows what awaits him. This is a journey that will not only change Jason's life but could change Port Charles forever. And when Jason returns, if he can return, will everything be the same, or will he carry secrets that could change everyone forever? A storm is coming, and Port Charles will never be the same again. Jason has never been one to accept control, and even though he's been forced into the WSB by Brennan, he continues to find ways to overthrow the one behind all the schemes. His fury toward Brennan grows as he not only manipulates him but also exploits Josslyn to achieve his goals. Jason knows that if he doesn't act now, Brennan will continue to use those he loves as pawns in his power game. So, even if it means facing serious consequences, Jason has made his decision. Brennan must be eliminated. But this is no simple task. Brennan is no ordinary gangster or crime boss who can be easily taken down. He has an entire organization backing him, with political and financial power and even the WSB to protect him. If Jason wants to defeat Brennan, he has to do it from within the organization, finding a way to break the entire system he's built. This is not just a personal battle, it's a fight against a force too powerful. And that means Jason will face dangers unlike anything he's encountered before. While Jason quietly prepares his plan, a new disaster is brewing. His determination to take down Brennan is not something the WSB can overlook. People within the organization may already be beginning to question Jason's loyalty, and Brennan is certainly no fool to not realize that he's plotting against him. This puts Jason in more danger than ever. One small mistake and he could be exposed and become the target of the very people he's forced to work with. The tension is reaching its peak as a series of unexpected events unfold. The WSB begins to assign more dangerous tasks, tests that Jason knows will lead to his removal if he refuses. But Jason can't just keep following orders, he needs an opportunity to strike, to take down Brennan before he can retaliate. And time is running out for him. Meanwhile, in Port Charles, Carly, Sonny, and Josslyn are beginning to feel the growing loss as Jason is no longer by their side. But what they don't know is that Jason isn't just leaving for a mission, he's stepping into a battle where if he fails, he may never return. A new disaster is approaching. If Jason succeeds, Brennan will be overthrown, and he may regain his freedom. But if he fails, not just him but everyone he loves could be dragged into a devastating storm. The question now isn't whether Jason can win, but whether he's willing to pay the price to achieve it. Port Charles is on the brink of a new crisis, and when this game ends, no one can know what will remain.